Alright, what's going on everyone? Today we're going to be talking about exclusive cards because WotC has announced, well, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but they have announced we have a new set of exclusive cards, this time in theme boosters, and I want to talk about the ramifications we face when they do this sort of thing, as well as why I think they're doing it in the first place. And let me say first off that I am approaching this with what I hope is a rational perspective. I'm not here to necessarily complain or denounce Wizards of the Coast or support them. I just want to talk about this, kind of walk people through the positive and negative implications of constantly printing these cards that are exclusive to certain products. So first off, WotC announced that theme boosters will have exclusive cards that can only be found in those specific packs. Now they claim these are new player friendly, which is to say that they're bad. I mean, that's basically what it means. But the reason this is dangerous is if any of these cards do become valuable, if they become constructed playable, for example, then the prices are likely to go through the roof because these are seeded in specific boosters that might not be produced in the same large quantities as regular boosters. Now, I will say that in this specific case, if this does happen, then it might not be so bad since people will be able to open the specifically colored packs. So for example, if a red card ends up being like a $20 card, people can buy the red theme booster and have an increased chance of getting it, and that could lessen the impact a little bit in this specific scenario. But I want to talk, more generically about this kind of exclusive card philosophy and the potential problems with it. So the problem is there isn't really a way for exclusive cards like this to be successful. So like, for example, let's look at buy a box promos. If the exclusive buy a box promo is terrible, then it doesn't really feel like much of a reward for buying the box, right? Like you get this card for buying the box, but the card is worth like $4 and it's, it's okay, I guess, whatever. But if it's good, like say Nexus of Fate, then it has catastrophic secondary market implications and players start getting priced out of standard because there's this random highly rare promo that drives the prices of decks through the roof. Now sure, if you bought a box and you got the Nexus, that's great. I'm not saying it's purely negative, but basically what I mean is no matter what happens, there is a negative side to it, right? There's no way for this to be successful without some negativity. Either it's a bad card and it's pointless, or it's a good card and it makes standard decks more expensive, or modern decks, or pioneer decks, or commander decks, who knows? So there's just no way for exclusive promos to be successful without some negativity. Now, this wouldn't be a problem if the buy a box promos were cards that could be found in regular sets. Instead of exclusive cards, they're just promos of cards that already exist. So let's pretend that the buy a box promo for Theros Beyond Death was an expensive card from Eldraine with new art and maybe a fancy border or something, I don't know. Like imagine if you pre-order a box of Theros and you automatically get a foil Brazen Borrower with art depicting it in Greek armor to reflect the theme of Theros, which is Greece, ancient Greece, Greek mythology. Or perhaps like a questing beast, but it's in an environment where, it's Greek, maybe it's surrounded by Greek architecture or whatever. This guarantees that the card is valuable for those who get the promo because, it's already a valuable card and then you're getting a fancy promo alternate art foil version of it. So it guarantees that it will be successful if you get it because it's going to be worth something, but it doesn't hurt those who don't get it because I can still get the regular questing beast and regular Brazen Borrower. So that's perfect, right? That would 100% never fail. It would always be good for the people who get it and it would never hurt the people who don't. Guaranteed success, right? And this, by the way, is why I have no problem with collector boosters. If people want to spend $25 per pack to get fancy borders and extended art cards, then that's fine since it doesn't affect those who choose not to buy them. So yeah, that's a great way to go about it. And that's not going to be true the next time an exclusive promo explodes in price. The next time one of these like limited print, limited run, fancy promo that you can only get in this very specific way, the next time one of these cards, goes up in price because it's constructed playable, whether it's standard or brawl or commander, like Nexus of Fate, like Korvold, it's just bad. It's bad for a lot of people because, if you want to play Korvold right now, have fun. It's super expensive because there's just so few of them. And that's not even that bad because at least that was in collector boosters. But Nexus of Fate was kind of a disaster. So why does WotC keep playing with fire? Why do they keep printing exclusive cards knowing that it's a powder keg that's definitely going to explode sooner or later? Like, it's guaranteed to go bad eventually, right? And I just outlined a perfectly good way to do it with no risk and basically just all guaranteed success. Well, the more pessimistic content creators will tell you that the company is filled with a bunch of stupid oafs who don't know what the heck they're doing. But I disagree with that. I strongly disagree with that. I always hate that sort of mentality. I hate that way of thinking. I'm not saying they don't make mistakes. I'm not saying that they do everything perfectly because they don't. But generally speaking, they're on top of things when it comes to releasing cards into the secondary market. They're very good. They understand perfectly well, how to release cards into the secondary market. They're masterful at seeding cards into the market to their benefit. They're really good at profiting off of printing cards, which makes sense since that's literally what they're in business to do. They're in the business of printing cards and cultivating the price of cards. That's the whole business model. Makes sense. Makes sense that they would be good at it. So I ask again, why do they keep playing with fire? Why do they keep printing exclusive cards at their own risk? Well, it's simple. Reprint equity. Whenever WotC releases a limited print exclusive card, there's a chance that it will be disastrous. But from disaster comes dividends. Let's pretend that one of these theme booster cards becomes a commander staple. Let's say this Hydra becomes a $20 commander staple. That means that WotC can throw it into a commander deck or a future supplementary product to add $20 worth of value. And if none of the cards become valuable, well then, no harm, no foul, right? So it doesn't feel like much of a risk from their perspective. I just said a little bit ago that there is no way for these to be successful without some negativity, but I was speaking from a player's perspective. From the company's perspective, there is no way for these to fail. Either they are harmless jank that don't affect the secondary market at all, or they become a financial boon in the future. And none of this, of course, is true if promos were alternate art cards that already exist. If they went with my idea of making the Theros Buy a Box promo a alternate art Brazen Borrower with Greek art or Greek armor or a Greek setting, guess what? There's no reprint equity in that because people can always default to the regular card. Now, in that case, granted, Brazen Borrower is still an expensive card, but let's say they did that with Bone Crusher Giant, right? That doesn't give them reprint equity because Bone Crusher Giant is still like a $2 card. So yes, it's all negative for us, but it's all positive for them. So that, in my opinion, is why Wizards of the Coast keeps playing with fire, because they're not playing with fire at all. Yes, it's not great for us if one of these cards becomes constructed playable, but at the end of the day, it's all upside for them. So let me end this by saying that I'm not making this video to paint Wizards of the Coast as this evil corporate entity that's out to get you, but I do believe WotC is willing to sacrifice some consumer satisfaction for the potential of future profits, or at least they're not willing to sacrifice it, they're willing to put it at risk. They're willing to print exclusive promos knowing that there's a chance that there could be negative implications for players, but positive ones for them. Every time a promo card becomes constructed playable, it is a negative experience for the vast majority of players. But WotC is demonstrating that they're okay with that if it means that they can make more money in the future. So this is the fine line of running a business, right? At the end of the day, you have to make money to survive, but you also have to make your customers happy. And successful businesses try to make as much money as they can before they start making their customers unhappy. The idea is, let me make as much money as possible while making my customer as happy as possible. And it's obviously, it's a balance. You're trying to strike as perfect of a balance as possible. And this is verging into the I'm willing to make my customer a little bit unhappy to make just a little bit more money. So I personally don't think that exclusive promos result in a positive experience for consumers. And frankly, I wish they'd stop doing it, but I don't think they will. Not until it gets really, really bad. Sooner or later, one of these will be absolutely terrible. There will be lots of complaining. Nexus of Fate was close. I don't think it was close enough because it wasn't a staple card. It was a good card in one deck. But I think if a exclusive promo becomes like a legitimate staple, it'll be disastrous. But that will be the point where Wizards of the Coast will start to see the light, possibly. But until then, they'll keep poking the bear and playing with fire because it's all upside for them. All right, that's it, guys. Just wanted to talk about that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.